Maria Luisa Pacheco was born on September 22, 1919 in La Paz, Bolivia. She studied with her father at the local Academia de Bellas Artes in La Paz and later became a member of the faculty. During this early period, she began studying indigenism but rejected it by the end of her career. She also studied at the University of San Andres in the Academy of Fine Arts. In the late 1940s and until 1951, she worked at the newspaper La Razón as an illustrator and as the editor of their literary section. A scholarship from the government of Spain allowed Pacheco to continue her studies in 1951 and 1952 as a graduate student at the Academia de Bellas Artes de San Fernando in Madrid. She attended San Fernando with fellow Cubist painter Daniel Vasquez Diaz. Pacheco came to adopt an abstract style and became a co-founder of the 8 Contemporary Painters group back home in 1955. In 1956, she moved to New York City where she rose to fame within the art world for her abstract landscapes and figure paintings. During that same year, she was the recipient of 3 consecutive fellowship awards from the John Simon Guggenheim Memorial Foundation in New York City. Maria Luisa Pacheco is best known for her paintings of landscape abstractions, most notably glaciers and peaks of the Andes Mountains. Pacheco's abstract paintings are inspired by the native Quechua and Aymara people of Bolivia. Having grown up in La Paz with such close proximity to the Andes, the landscape inspired the artist to create her own interpretation of the mountains and scapes she witnessed daily. Pacheco drew a lot of her painting inspiration from the scenery around her growing up in Bolivia. The political and social unrest during her life in Bolivia also inspired much of her figure painting works. She depicts figures with their faces cast downward, where they are looking to be hard at work, in reprieve, or even suppressed by something greater than themselves. Pacheco uses cool tones like blues and greens to create a somber mood in her works, with hints of red to contrast her message. The geometric nature of her abstractions, along with her use of red among mostly cool tones, complements the Cubist work of Degas and Picasso only decades before her. For example, in her work Tres Figuras, the painting has both notes of light-handed and spirited marks, which are characteristics of the abstract expressionist movement of her time. It also holds the basic Cubist elements apparent in the geometric patterns and color choice in the overall composition. Her paintings evoke emotion not only in her figurative works, but even in her expressions of landscapes as well. Pacheco was also known to incorporate other materials such as fabric, sand, and wood into her paintings to add to their visual texture. Her work had a comparatively softer tone than other abstract expressionists in New York during her time, as well as the Cubist artists just before her. This makes her work not only stand out, but it truly nods to the natural beauty of the landscape she remembered from her childhood. Maria Luisa Pacheco died in New York City in 1982. Her beautiful abstractions of the Andes Mountains and of the human figure are great additions and a lovely contrast to other painters' works during the abstract expressionist movement in New York. Throughout her life, she successfully incorporated the landscape and people of Bolivia with her own interpretation through her paintbrush. To this day, her artworks continue to be sold and auctioned off around the world.